Good morning. A while back, did a video in response to a question from somebody explaining how survivor benefits per person can increase for the remaining surviving kids or other dependents, presumably, when one of those dependents ages out and isn't entitled to a survivor benefit. And that all has to do with that family max. If it's divided by 10 and now there's only 9, each one's going to get a little bigger, right? So long after the fact, I got a question, and it's worth mentioning. The person wanted to know, what about if the survivor benefits are going to 2 different households? I suppose this would be the deceased working parent perhaps had 2 marriages with 2 different sets of kids, both of which have minor children still. It's really not going to change anything. The family max is still going to apply. So whether the 9 dependents, and I'm making up that number, 4 are in one household, 5 are in another, they're all still going to get that same prorated amount, all capped at the survivor benefit max per person. Like each person, child, say 75%, 50%, whatever it is, that would be a cap. But obviously with 10 people, 9 people, that's not, no one's going to come close to their max. So if one person in one household, let's say there's a 4 and a 5, and a person in the 4 reaches majority and is no longer, entitled to or eligible for a dependent survivor benefit, because now that person's an adult and can, support themselves should they so choose. And I'm assuming they're not disabled. Now there's 3 in that household, 5 in the other, total of 8. That benefit, that family max, is going to be divided by 8 now. So everybody in both households will get incrementally increased. It's not that what the 4 we're getting that is now 3 now gets divided among 3. No, all the dependents are treated the same. It's not like, well, this, if there was one, let's say we had a household where there's I'm making it up, $1,000 of family max. That's very low, but for a family max. But let's just use the number simply. And there's 1 kid in one household, 3 kids in a different household. They're each getting $250, right? Because 4 times 250 makes that family max, assuming there's nobody else collecting. If the 3 become 2, because one of the 3 now aged out, the $1,000 total is now going to be split amongst all 3, 2 in the one household, 1 in the other household. So each would get their 333 instead of their 250. The 2 that are the remaining from 3-kid household, that is now a 2-kid household, when they were before getting 750 total, they are not going to be able to keep 750 because one was for the kid that aged out. That is now back in the family pot to be split among all the dependents. It's not that his amount is now going to be shared to his 2 siblings in this household, and the other kid in the other household is not going to get his increase to get him closer equally to that full amount that he would be due as a dependent. Okay? So different households, it doesn't matter. Everyone's treated the same. There's no favoritism among households. Okay? Hope that helps explain that. Bye now. In case you don't know which video perpetuated or precipitated the creation of the one we just listened to, I'll attach it here. It might give you a little more information about this particular subject matter. Okay, stay tuned. Bye. Good afternoon. This is a question posed. It concerns survivor benefits paid to minor children and whether one will increase when the older of the two ages out of being a dependent entitled to survivor benefits under a parent's record. So looks like the individual posing the question was getting some conflicting information from the SSA, who didn't know how much more the remaining child would get, et cetera, et cetera. So I thought I'd put this down on a video, even though I did provide a write-up for it, but sometimes it's easier this way for some people who prefer to listen instead of read the response. So basically it's like this. Now, in this case, I don't know if those two children were the only two taking a benefit based on the mom who passed away, the deceased parent's work record. So generally, survivor benefits for a child are 75%. This means that they can each potentially get up to 75% of mom's primary insurance amount. Okay. Now, there is something called the family maximum. And generally, the family maximum can be anywhere from 150% of mom's primary insurance amount, PIA, primary insurance amount, potentially up to 180-ish. I don't know the exact number. Lower income earners tend to have a family max in the lower range, closer to the 150, and higher income earners tend to gravitate up towards the 180. Okay. Anyway, it probably has to do with bend points and all sorts of other things, but I don't really know. Not my pay grade to do that math. But so and I'm just going to use a number here for simplicity's sake. Let's say the mom's benefit rate was $1,000. Then each kid's maximum potential when mom passed would be 75% of that, or $750. Correct me if I'm doing the math wrong. Now, do they get the $750? They probably do if they are the only two people collecting on mom's work record. If there is a stay-at-home parent taking care of these kids, that parent might be getting a caretaker benefit. So if that was the case, let's say it's 150% is the family maximum. Mom's not taking her 100. So we have that full, what did we say? 1,000. We have her full 1,000. And if the family maximum is 150%, that would mean there was 1,000 plus 500 is 1,500 to be split amongst anyone who's collecting under that work record. Okay, so if there's only two kids, the 750 and the 750 happens to meet that 1,500. They're not exceeding the family max, so they would get their full 75%. If there was a caretaker, if there was a third child, they would not all be getting their 75% because they would be exceeding the $1,500 family max, right? That 150% of mom's primary insurance amount. So, but in this instance, let's say that there's only the two children collecting, getting their 750. The oldest one turns 18 and is no longer eligible. Because the younger one was already getting the 75%, there's nothing more for him to get. So he'll continue to get a 75%. The 18-year-old will not be getting 75%. And that can be difficult on a household who's unaware that their 18-year-old now isn't going to be bringing in $750 a month. So if the household was relying on that $750 to pay rent, mortgage, pay the bills, now that there's one parent not available to work and do that, it's going to be tougher. Now, if there is a caretaker parent, and that would be if that child is under 16, and that caretaker parent is a dependent, meaning probably subject to the earnings limits and stuff like that, that caretaker parent could potentially get a caretaker benefit also. And that could even that all out. Had there been, say, 3 kids, again, their potential maximum per kid is 75% or $750. When there's 3, and if that family max is 1,500, like we talked about before, the 3 people collecting now have to split that, and they're going to prorate it. Generally, they're going to prorate it evenly, and so they'll each get 500. But again, there's a whole 1,500 still coming into the family, so it almost doesn't matter, who it's going to in terms of the gross amount coming into the family to help support the family. But again, if someone ages out and there's no one else there to collect any of it, that remaining child is still never going to get more than 75%. If there was the 3 kids and the one aged out, so if they were getting 500, 500, 500, one ages out and isn't getting the 500, now the other 2 are going to be able to get back to that 750, right? Because they're going to split, they're going to figure out the 75%. And it turns out it's not exceeding the family max, because 750 plus 750 would be the 1,500, and they'd be good to go. Again, let's say it was 4 kids. They'd each be getting 1/4 of 1,500. Let's just say it was 1,600 to make it simple. They'd each be getting 400. That's far less than 75%. But when one scrolls off, ages out, then the other ones will be able to increase what they're getting, so long as they don't exceed the 75%. And of course, the total of everybody taking cannot exceed the family maximum. Okay. I hope that explains it. So you got to look at it. It's always going to depend on the family, the benefit amount, how many people are collecting, be it children or other dependent adults on that record. So there is no exact answer until you plug all those numbers in. And I believe you can call your field office and get your family maximum amount under that work record. So whoever is eligible to receive information about the deceased parents, Social Security situation and primary insurance amount and all that, should be able to get that. I would think the custodial parent of the remaining children would have no problem getting that. I hope that helps explain. Feel free to ask any questions if I'm unclear in any way. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.